You make this person's heart race with this energy of the hummingbird every time they see you. This is somebody that is very mesmerized by you at this time. They are completely spellbound. They cannot believe that they are lucky enough to have someone like you in their life who is, first of all, giving them the time of day, second of all, giving them access into your internal world, into who you are beyond surface level pleasantries, and also in the ways in which you have shown this person care, attention, affection, patience, devotion. All of this just warms them up from the inside. This is somebody that feels that you are the perfect match for them. You are exactly the type of person that they need and that they want at this phase of their life. And this is also somebody that is really feeling like what you have brought to the table, what you have shown this person at this point in time, it is helping them to kind of like move beyond old narratives and belief systems as far as love is concerned. And there's like a renewed interest in planning for the future, being hopeful about the future. This might be somebody that has for a while just kind of lived very in the moment, sort of like, I'll take life as it comes. This might be somebody who's experienced tower moments, or it might even be somebody that, had a long-term connection they thought was going to lead to marriage that fell through, or this was someone that was married before, and in the aftermath of their divorce, they were a bit skittish. They were a bit, kind of nervous, or kind of like hyper vigilant as far as, getting in too deep with anyone again. This might be somebody that was even sort of turned off to the idea of getting married once more. And so this is something where if any of that kind of factors into belief systems that they have had, whether you know about that or that's something that they've kept to themselves, you have caused this person to change their tune because they sense that you bring a very authentic energy. You are someone who has been shaped by your life experiences, loves and losses, and yet you are here with your heart light turned on very brightly. You are a very giving person. You also know how to receive, and you have modeled for this individual that regardless of the ups and downs that either of you have faced in love or in life in the past, that an opportunity exists in the here and now to chart a course in a better direction. So this is somebody that is feeling very hopeful, like a renewal of hope, or they're putting their faith and their trust in kind of what takes place in this connection moving forward. Yeah, we also have this energy of the serpent. So again, this is somebody that is shedding outdated beliefs. You have coaxed this person out of some kind of box that they put themselves in. Like they had shut down in order to heal their heart, heal their wounds, or almost kind of took the approach of like, I don't know how to heal these things within me. The only thing I've heard that works for a lot of people is time heals all wounds. So I'm just going to close myself off from the potential of experiencing hurt again. And maybe with enough time, things will feel better. Time has passed. They have remained in that kind of like fortress that has now turned into a prison of, having this kind of like longing for connection, but very afraid to take chances. You have brought in an energy and an experience to this person's life where they are slowly but surely kind of working their way out of a hesitation to take leaps of faith forward, to take risks as far as romance is concerned. This is something where they almost feel like you are that answered prayer, that divine timing has finally come around in a way that does not signal waiting or loss of hope, but that their ships have finally come in. That's like that Three of Wands energy, only you are that arrival. You are that person who, without kind of like making big promises or putting pressure on this person to change, it's almost like how you've showed up in their life, or even ways in which you might bring a similar degree of like guardedness, and yet you're willing to give love one more chance. You kind of like remain in an energy of sort of like, yeah, I've been hurt, but I really believe that there is a beautiful love story still available for me in this lifetime, despite all the times where the opposite has happened, or some kind of like big heartbreak, big loss that for most people would just cause them to shut down altogether. You, on the other hand, have kept like a grain of hope alive. You've kept that door open just a crack within your heart, even to the potential of like a deep and meaningful partnership. And without even having to say anything, your energy speaks volumes. And this is something that has almost kind of like your energy has energetically taken their energy by the hand, and you are both kind of moving forward at a very organic pace, but something that is really, it feels like encouraging this person to sort of do their part to free themselves from self-imposed shackles, that self-imposed prison where there was like this longing and this desire for something to show up, something to occur that would kind of like disprove certain theories that they had, or wounds that they had kind of that had been slow to close, or kind of even the scars left behind by those things were very hard to just sort of ignore or compartmentalize away. This person has prayed for a long time, like prayed for a sign, prayed for something very beautiful to happen to them romantically speaking, and it just never came. And then you arrived. And so this is somebody that recognizes and acknowledges that there's no place in the loving connection that you can have with one another for the fears of the past. There's no reason for them to kind of like compare what the two of you have with what they had with somebody else or with other people. So this is somebody that it feels like every day they are in a process of kind of disempowering the old narratives. They are not feeding energy into their inner critic that has, up to this point in time, encouraged them to be very cautious about love, or very cautious in this situation when you first connected with one another. It's like that negative mindset or that anxiety, that uncertainty, that sense of dread or panic surfaces, and this person is like alchemizing that very quickly. They are consciously redirecting their thoughts towards something better, something good. They are not feeding into that timeline anymore that has kept them stuck in their life, or in this energy of waiting, or again, where they had kind of just turned themselves over to that idea of like time will heal all wounds. And they did the best that they could on their own, or even just kind of sitting in that holding pattern, waiting for something to arrive that would kind of like bring them out of that phase of healing or needing to hold themselves back. And you are that person. You are that harbinger of love that has arrived at their doorstep, that is introducing them to the fact that like it's the dawning of a new day. It's a new opportunity. It is time for the two of you to experience something that is different from anything that you've ever known, and also represents like a healed version of love, because you both have been through experiences that have taught you very, very strongly kind of what the absence of love looks like, or learning to love oneself in the aftermath of disappointment and heartbreak. And so this person sees that you are like here, this opportunity is here as kind of a chance to sort of practice everything that they've been preaching or what they've been working on within in terms of trying to like heal those wounds, or kind of move beyond sort of the wreckage of the past. And they recognize like to truly take that step forward, they have to build with another person. They have to take a risk. They have to take a leap of faith. And your energy has aligned, and the experience of you has aligned so perfectly with them that it's kind of like, this feels right. This feels like the time. This feels like the situation. You feel like that person that I am supposed to move forward in the direction of, so that I get the chance to experience something better than what I've known before. Yeah, and we have this energy of the goat. So this is something where at this phase, this person's almost like they're taking these like baby steps along this kind of like sheer cliff face, where their inner critic is sort of speaking doom and gloom. They are talking fear into their own plans, and they recognize that on some level. They may be at a point now where they're like, wow, I really am a master of self-sabotage. And that might have been something that has prevented them from allowing love in, or allowing themselves to depart from wounding of the past up to this point in time. But your voice, your presence, your light is a companion for this person as they kind of inch their way forward beyond this kind of fear of having something and then having it all fall apart again, rising into love and then falling flat on their face, taking steps in the direction of something new only to kind of be entering into a circumstance that ultimately just results in loss. It's like that has been kind of the mindset that has held them back, this kind of like fear of failure. It feels like this is somebody that gives a lot when they love, or in the past it's kind of like they thought everything was going really well. The rug might have been pulled out from under them by past partners, and that was very devastating. Or something where, you know, this person had their own kind of issues, they had their demons, they had their shortcomings. Maybe they were the one to blame for a relationship that fell apart or a marriage that fell apart, and this is somebody that has really been working to try and change those aspects of their character, but they have not yet stepped into the experience of someone that has reinforced for them like this version of them is lovable, that whatever efforts that they've made to kind of heal, move beyond the past, or reinvent themselves in some way, they've yet to encounter anyone that makes them feel safe enough to just kind of like let go and let themselves be free within a loving connection. You have come along, this situation has come along, and so this person is like, I need to continue to take steps forward in this direction because nothing has felt this right before or in a very long time, and I don't want to miss out on this opportunity, because you might be that kind of like divine timing answered prayer that I've been waiting for, that I've been working very hard behind the scenes to prepare myself for, and now you've arrived. Yeah, we have the energy of sloth. So again, this is something where they are moving very slowly, but they are making progress. There is a fear that because they might not be in a place of being able to fully like speak on their fears, they may have only just kind of like vaguely mentioned their past. They may have been very nonchalant about it, or just kind of like, I don't want to talk about that, you know, just so you know, like I was married before, but I don't really want to get into it. You know, it was a messy divorce, or it was a very painful ending, and so it feels like you may have just sort of like brief details of what they've been through, but it feels like it took a lot for this person to pick up the pieces within themselves. There may have been things like if they were kind of, you know, the culprit within the circumstance falling apart, this has been a lot of like shame that they've had to work through, a lot of self-judgment, a lot of things that they may have really needed to change, like turn over a new leaf within themselves. They may have needed an extended period of time of being single in order to find themselves again, in order to become a better person, in order to heal certain things, fix certain things, or even to just kind of like settle into a place of holding on for like the grief of the loss of the life they thought they were going to have with someone else that didn't turn out that way. And so taking steps in the direction of like a new partnership, because they see long-term potential with you, and there's a sense of sort of like, I want to take this leap of faith forward, but I want to make sure I do things right this time. I don't want to repeat the same mistakes of the past. I don't want to open my heart totally to you and to this connection. I don't want you to open your heart totally to me and to this connection. And for either of us to be unsafe people, unsafe emotional environments within which any love that blossoms between the two of us would inevitably wither. This is somebody that almost feels like a slow and steady approach at this point in time, kind of like honoring this fear within themselves and like pushing themselves little by little every day beyond it. That is the best thing that they can do at this point in time to kind of contribute to a foundation of patience. They acknowledge their limits, but they also sense like they need to continue to take steps forward because they don't want to keep you guessing. They don't want you to kind of like develop some opinion or some idea of this person like, oh, it's going to be, you know, a very excruciating process of trying to get them to open up. I'm always going to have to be holding space. I'm always going to have to kind of take a measured approach. I'm always going to have to walk on eggshells with this person, because that's not the accurate depiction of like what they're capable of emotionally. But this is a threshold of kind of like taking steps forward to be enveloped by this connection, taking steps forward and every day building a little bit of confidence that no matter how they showed up in previous connections, whose fault it was or wasn't, whatever happened in the past, whatever wounds they had, whatever healing they did or didn't do, whatever is still kind of a work in progress or something that they weren't able to accomplish much with because it requires the love of another to heal those aspects of them, and things that they have very beautifully kind of like mended fixed or kind of like repurposed or rebuilt or reinvented within themselves, that full combination is worthy of love. It's worthy of consideration, and it feels like they sense almost that you're the person that can help them sort of decipher what love can mean at this point going forward. And so every step they take towards you also requires kind of like very consciously releasing some sort of energy of the past. And again, this energy of like slow moving, this is because this person is actively alchemizing. Every time they have like a negative or a fearful thought, it feels like they've got some kind of something that they say to themselves in their mind that just sort of like, okay, I'm acknowledging this energy of fear. Let me turn it into something else. I acknowledge that energy of fear. Let me speak into something positive. Let me speak life into myself. Let me turn that energy towards hope. Let me not be stifled by my own darkness, but let me look to the light instead. And so there's a lot of internal progress that is happening with them at this particular point in time. This is their way to like fight for this connection, to push themselves out of some cocoon that they've been in for quite some time. Yeah, and we also have wolf. So again, this is somebody that feels so drawn to you, so instinctually drawn to you. They sense that what you bring to the table is of a higher quality and caliber of energy, of light, and of love than anything they've experienced before in their life. Even if they don't know much about your backstory, you don't know much about their backstory, there's a sense of almost like kindred spirit energy. They sense that it's like this version of you was built through struggle, things that you had to overcome. You were at a crossroads moment, maybe several times, where it's like you could have shut down, you could have become embittered, but instead you chose love. You chose optimism. You chose to keep your heart open, even when that was the hardest thing to do. And this person, it feels like, sees that. They see a lot of themselves in you and in what your energy kind of like speaks to them, what is mirrored to them. And so as you continue to show up for this person, authentically yourself, honoring your own boundaries and your own needs, but being very generous in the ways in which you hold space for them, and you're also expressing yourself, this is helping this person to, again, kind of like get out of that aspect within where they almost felt like love was something that would always need to be looked at as a distant thing, a point on the horizon that no matter how much time passed, they were never any closer to it. You've come into their life, you've called out to them, your energy has called out to them. And so every day, this is somebody that is making that journey. They're crossing great distances inside of themselves to alchemize that kind of like self-talk, that internal narrative of fear into something of love, and to also continue to remind themselves that this situation is safe, this is trustworthy, this is real. This is that opportunity to have the love of a lifetime, the greatest love of all, the first love, the last love, the only love, because what you're experiencing with one another, what they sense is possible, it's happening on an internal and energetic level, and in little ways that there are kind of like breakthroughs that you may be aware of or not aware of. This person senses like this is the truest experience of love, or the truest potential for the experience of love that I've ever known before. And so I'm not going to get left behind. I'm not going to be somebody that, lets this opportunity slip through my fingers. I am moving towards you. I'm with you. I am evolving every single day into the version of me that can give of myself totally to you and can receive you totally as well. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.